how did the Big Cat connection come about?
The how we met story?
Yeah.
It was probably like 2015, 2014 maybe, when we were both, most of his day was spent blogging too at the point. I was blogging, and people would accuse us of stealing each other's jokes and takes.
That's funny.
I remember one of the first times it was Ragnar, the unofficial mascot from the Vikings. If you're not familiar with Ragnar, he used to drive the motorcycle out into the field before every game. And he was getting paid like $100 a game to drive out there. And he decided that he was going to hold out.
He made a crazy demand, right?
I think he said he wanted like 20 years and $10 million.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Maybe it was like $2 million over the course of 20 years, which is still like
not
insane.
Not mascot money.
An unofficial mascot, by the way. He was just a fan.
He was just a guy who
that looked like a Viking that owned a motorcycle. And so he decided he was going to hold out for a better contract. And Big Cat and I wrote blogs at the same time for different websites that were like, pay Ragnar, pay the man his money. Like, what do we have to say? Like, if you don't pay him, you can't be cheap. Other free agents will see this, they'll take notice.
Right.
And so people like tagged us in it. That was one of the first times, be like, yo, PFT, Big Cat stealing your take. Oh, Big Cat, PFT stealing your take.
Right.
So we eventually started following each other. And then I was up in Chicago one time for a wedding. And I was like, hey man, if you got a second, grab a beer. Let's say what's up.
Yeah.
And we met up at some bar, just talked for a little bit. He was like, what's the crazy take that you haven't published yet? Because I've got like 1 million. And I was like, Cal Ripken Jr. did steroids. And he was like, yes.
Love it.
He's like, that's one of mine too that I have on the list.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not. I just think that's an awesome take to just throw out into the universe with no evidence.
Mr. Iron Man.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh. He's rocking.
Well, listen, we all know the real story about what Cal Ripken was really doing with Kevin Costner and his wife. That's way worse than the steroids. But
yeah. So like this, we had like a good lunch meeting or whatever you want to call it. It was just like two guys getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And we kept in touch after that. And then once he found out that Chernin was starting to, show interest in Barstool and investing, he reached out to me. He was like, hey, we should do a podcast together. Like, I feel like this would be a good fit. So
that's crazy.
It always felt like the most natural fit.
Because, that's how a lot of, it's like, how did you get this comic on my show? Or like, how did you link up for this or that? And a lot of it is just like internet friends or internet connection. But the fact that birthed like the biggest podcast of all time is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because, you almost expect that there's something more to it. Like we knew each other since birth, or like we met here or there, where it was like like it only could have happened to you. But it couldn't have happened. It could have happened. Like it was just a DM. It could happen to anybody.
Yeah,
some of the great duos is like, it's just by chance that we just clicked.
Yeah, I think it was just like we had similar sensibilities about sports and sports media in general, and we shared a lot of the same opinions, shared a lot of the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
So it was just like a natural fit. And Big Cat, he's like probably the easiest person to like riff off of. He's like a very good co-host to have, and like it always to me felt like something that could have been really uncomfortable to just like get through, like two bugs getting thrown into like a mason jar together when you're a kid, and you're like, okay, get along.
Yeah.
But with him, it was always just like an instant click where we knew that even if we had like the stupidest takes or ideas of all time, we could still in the moment like laugh about them and like play them off and joke, and everything seemed to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So it was honestly like a no-brainer, especially when I didn't have any other option.
Yeah.